EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martins here with your outlook for February 12th, 2025. It is Wednesday. Welcome to Wild Weather Wednesday, brought to you by Pure Sight and Sound. Did you know that in the wrong hands, audio-video systems can be unsightly and even frustrating? Pure Sight and Sound has mastered the art of hiding electronics, speakers, racks, wiring, everything, and at the same time making those systems delightfully simple for homeowners to use, like hiding under an invisibility cloak all of their own. This week, Pure Sight and Sound has a request. They are looking for a connection to the best interior designer that you know. Someone who really knows their stuff, is very picky, and accepts nothing less than the best for their clients. As exactly like the guys at Pure Sight and Sound. Pure Sight and Sound can take all the stress and worry off that interior designer when it comes to bringing beautiful sound to a home, whether it is whole home audio, a fantastic home theater, or outdoor sound. You could even say they will make beautiful music together. Ask your favorite interior designer to call Ed at the phone number above me here in the video, 570-992-2992, or visit them on the web at puresightandsound.com. At Pure Sight and Sound, they hide with pride. They are Pure Sight and Sound Incorporated, proud sponsors of the Wednesday video forecast. And the busy stuff continues. We knew we were going to be in this active pattern. We're going to continue with that today. Yesterday's system went largely to the south, and some pretty decent accumulations across our southern areas that really jumped out at me this evening as I was looking over some of the observations, and a lot of that 6 to 9 area is going to end up verifying in the 4 to 6 area as well. So I mean, there's a lot of big accumulations, especially as you get south of the Mason-Dixon line. But today's system is going to be cutting to the west. It's going to start out here in the Tennessee Valley like this, and head right in the eastern Ohio Valley, right over the Great Lakes like this. When you have a low pressure moving in that direction, that means it's going to flood warm air in on the southeastern side. Now, we do have high pressure over the top initially, right here, but is in the process of moving out. So initially, we're going to have a wintry mix because of this high pressure, giving a little bit of a cold air damming signature at the surface. But this is in the process of retreating, so it's not hanging on forever, and this low is going to cut right through our west and bring in that warmer, milder air. And it's going to change us over from snow initially in some areas to sleet briefly, then freezing rain for some, but not a lot. And then we go over to just plain rain by the time we get to Thursday morning when this ends. Not impossible for the highest elevations, and I mean way up there when you get up to about 2,000 feet. Like Mount Pocono, for example, might hold on to freezing precipitation the entire time, and it just ends that way. It is possible, but we're going to get to this system coming through, and then Thursday, we're going to have any morning showers giving way to some partial clearing in the afternoon. It's going to become quite windy again as that front moves through. But first things first, here's the NAM high-res future simulated radar starting us off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Just some spotty light stuff here at this point. I really think it's going to be mid to late afternoon when we start populating some of this snow activity, except for our northeastern areas. You're probably waiting until early evening for that to occur. But just some light snow breaking out across the interior here. You see the sleet is down here after starting off as some maybe a little bit of snow, but not really much. A little bit of sleet that's starting down further south, and this rain is in the same areas that just got hit with the heaviest snow. We're now going to be getting rain from this from start to finish in these areas. So whatever you had is probably going to be disappearing. Unfortunately, I know you're not going to be able to enjoy it too much. If you do, and you have off from school today down here in these areas south of the Mason-Dixon line, take the kids out today because you're going to get rain after that point, and it's going to wash everything away. But the interior is going to start off as snow, and then the sleet will follow it. And right behind that, you get some light freezing rain. But this rain line is going to continue moving northward. This isn't a lot of heavy rain here, though. Not a lot of heavy rain. It's going to be lighter stuff generally overnight. But then the higher elevations will hang on to this freezing rain a little bit longer in both central PA, mountains of central PA, and across northeast PA. And then you have rain elsewhere that's going to continue through the overnight period and into Thursday morning, and then this will be off the coast by noon. There's noon right there. You see it's moving off the coast. Cold front moves through, and then after that we get, yes, wind. Wind is going to pick up here, and we are going to get wind gusts that are going to be, for a time, when you get kind of mid to late afternoon through mid-evening, so like maybe a 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. window is when the winds are going to be at their absolute strongest. We get some wind gusts there, 25 to 35, some peak gusts near 40 as that front moves through, because we're getting the temperatures up here on Thursday. As you see above me, 42 to 48. That's a pretty high temperature. And then you're going right back down to cold temperatures on Friday in the lower to middle 30s. So cold air advection wind associated with that cold front is going to push through, most notably between 3 and 9 p.m. And then after 9 p.m., it's still breezy overnight, but not quite as windy. And that's going to diminish by the time we get to Friday morning. okay, when things settle down a little bit. Now we're going to get back to the European model here, so I'm going to move this forward from this point and go into Friday. There, it is a mostly sunny day. High pressure sitting right over top of the region. Very strong high pressure, so probably not one of those days where you're not too many clouds at all. But it is going to, again, be in the low to mid 30s. But the wind calms down because the high pressure is overhead, so you don't have a lot of you don't have any pressure gradients or anything like that. It just will be a calm wind day here on Friday. Next system is going to come in here on Saturday, and this is a little more interesting than it looked yesterday, and is really is another two-part system. If you want to take the system we had last night and say that was part one, part two is coming today, right? This is almost the same deal this weekend, where you have the initial wave that comes through and it brings snow to parts of the region. And I think the best chance for that is going to be the I-78 corridor in Pennsylvania and New Jersey and points north, where you get some snow initially from that. Further south, it might be a rain-snow mix, but this is going to change over to rain also because this area low pressure is going to cut again. The second one. So the first wave brings that snow initially. There's actually a warm front associated with this. It kind of, here's that ridge. It just kind of sits like that. So if you get north of that boundary there, you're getting snow. At least initially, and it could be a couple inches of snow out of this time. It looks like it's going from snow to rain pretty quickly. There's not much mixing in between with this one. It just goes from snow to rain where the areas that get it, and then we get rain that goes all the way through the day here on Sunday. All the way through the day on Sunday, we get rain, and then once we get to the evening, this finally late afternoon and evening on Sunday, it finally tapers off. There could be a decent amount of rain with this too, good amount of precipitation with this. So we'll have to continue to follow that throughout the week as well. I do want to show you the GFS, though. The GFS that ran today, the most recent run of this, is a little bit more enthused with this snow on the front end here, being a little bit higher than just like an inch or two or three. So we'll have to watch this and make sure, see how much of a thump we can get here on the front end of this, because you could end up with a situation where you get like 3, 4, 5 inches of snow on the front end. That's possible too, but this is too changing over to some mix and then over to rain by the time we get to Sunday. So it will end that way. I do think we're going to have some have that change over to snow just because of the way the low pressure is, but I want to keep an eye on this for the next couple of days. Make sure this doesn't start trending a little bit colder. You know, if it does that, like the GFS shows, you might not just get like an inch or 2 or 3. It could be a little bit more than on the front end before it goes over to any mixing and then rain with this particular system. This was one of our winter storm signals at one time, and then it just trended warmer because the EPO went from negative to neutral. So now we lost that push on the southeast ridge. Here's your southeast ridge right here. The EPO actually is a cross-polar flow that pushes against this and forces it a little bit further south. We don't have that anymore. So I'm leaning against the idea that we're going to get more snow right now, but not impossible. Not at all impossible. We'll have to continue to watch that throughout the week. And this would get, again, this is coming in on Saturday. This looks like the timing of this is either, it might even be as early as Saturday morning according to GFS. The European model has this coming in more like Saturday afternoon. So timing at this range is always different. We can't really give specific timing. We're just going to say Saturday right now and go from there. But at least areas north of 78 would be most prone to having some accumulations. Might not be a lot, but it could be some before any change over to other precipitation types. So we'll watch that throughout the week. And then behind this, once we get to in the wake of the system, there's going to be really cold air coming here. Very cold for this time of year. You got to remember, it's I know it's February and you know, it's February 12th, and people think that it's, you know, it's supposed to be bitterly cold. It's actually January is the coldest month. We're starting to recover a little bit on those average high temperatures, and now most places in the lower 40s for normal highs. Okay, so if you're going to be, you have this kind of cold blast coming in here with highs in the 20s. That's pretty notable. We're going to get highs in the middle 20s on Monday, it looks like, as this cold air rushes in, and then moderating only slightly by the time we get to Tuesday. Monday's probably going to end up being a very breezy day. You see these isobars very close together. So it'll be another windy day here on Monday, escorting that cold in, and then that might start as early as Sunday night. Again, the timing of that is probably still going to be a little bit off yet, but once we get to Tuesday, the winds start to die down a little bit, and we get temperatures still well below average, still in the 20s, probably mid to upper 20s at that point, but still we'll have to keep an eye on that. And don't really want to touch on this yet, but everybody's been speculating about it. There is another storm in the pipeline that might come in around the 20th or thereabout, so we're going to keep an eye on that. And privately in our long range, our premium forum, I do the long range every Monday and Wednesday. That is a winter storm signals between the 19th and 21st that we have listed in there, that as long as this holds by Friday will be included again in this Friday's public long-range outlook as well. So we'll keep an eye on this one here. This is at a time where the tropical forcing phase is a little more favorable for something that could be, something a little bit better organized, maybe a little more amplification involved with this. We'll see. We'll see. We have a long time to go yet, but there's something there. There's at least a signal there we have to pay attention to around that time frame. I'm EPA meteorologist Bobby Martrich. That is your outlook for February 12th, 2025. Have a great Wednesday.